Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Cash Matlock. Dozens of people evacuated homes last night in East Columbus because of floodwaters. Several areas throughout the Golden Triangle have experienced issues with flooding since Thursday's heavy rains. These are images from the Masonic subdivision in Columbus. As of this afternoon, Lowndes County road closings include STEENS Road, Highway 12, LaGrone Road, Jemison Road, Sand Road, and Dickerson Road. Lowndes County EMA Director Cindy Lawrence says if you see a barrier in the road, do not move it.
In the STEENS area, we've had several people who have gone around barricades, and we had to call the emergency crews to go out, the search and rescue to go out to help those people in the flooded area. This morning we had maybe 5 calls on flooded areas over in the area, and we did send emergency responders out to assist those people and getting them back to safety.
Since Thursday, Lowndes County has received up to 3.5 inches of rainfall. Floodwaters are also a concern in Clay County, where search teams have temporarily suspended their foot search for a missing man. David Box has been missing for 4 days now, and Sheriff Eddie Scott says the department has switched to alternative measures of searching due to flooding. Scott says the department will fly a drone around the area and interview people who last had contact with Box. With the possible lead, Scott says the department can determine Box's direction.
Well, he was reported missing to us yesterday morning sometime after 10 o'clock. During the investigations, we've discovered that he was last seen in the early morning hours of New Year's Day. So we're trying to establish a timeline of Mr. Box of New Year's Eve and into the early morning hours of New Year's Day.
If you have any additional information about David Box, please contact the Clay County Sheriff's Department.
And Cash, finally, for once, we do not have any rain on the radar. We are getting a clean sweep, and that is going to allow some of that floodwater to finally start to recede over the next few days. Many area waterways finally hitting their crest earlier this afternoon. That means that water is going to continue to go down from here. Overnight tonight, it's going to be a little chilly, though. Lows right around that freezing point. The good news is no rain. Plenty of starry sky, no clouds even really expected. And through the day tomorrow, another really nice day, maybe a little warmer than today. Temperatures close to 60 degrees, but notice still lots of sunshine. I think you'll be hard pressed to find any clouds in the sky tomorrow. However, this is Mississippi, and there's always rain in that 7-day forecast. I'll tell you when we can expect it this time coming up in just a little bit. Cash.
All right, thank you, Trevor. Well, law enforcement is searching for 2 inmates who are missing from the Mississippi State Penitentiary at Parchman. WREG reports David May, 42, and Dylan Williams, 27, were discovered missing during an emergency count at about 1:45 a.m. The state did not say whether they had escaped. The Mississippi Department of Corrections said May is serving life for 2 aggravated assault convictions in Harrison County, and Williams is serving 40 years for residential burglary and aggravated assault in Marshall County. Now, MDOC, along with state and local law enforcement, are searching for the men. Anyone with information about May or Williams should contact the MDOC at 662-745-6611 or the nearest law enforcement agency. Well, news broke yesterday of a 5th inmate death in Parchman, and Sunflower County Coroner Heather Burton tells the Associated Press that 36-year-old Denoris Howell was stabbed to death early Friday morning at the Mississippi State Penitentiary at Parchman. Howell is the 5th inmate to be killed by another inmate since Sunday and the 3rd at Parchman. Now, another inmate was stabbed in the incident Friday morning and taken to a Memphis hospital. In a recent public statement, Commissioner Policia Hall says the major disturbances were gang-related. Well, Hall also says, quote, there is a lot of misinformation fanning the flames of fear in the community at large, especially on social media, end quote. And it's these rumors and misinformation that have friends and family members of those inside the facility worried. Olivia is a concerned parent of 2 Parchman inmates. She says her 2 sons have been in prison for almost 2 years now, and she hasn't seen them since they went in. Olivia says it's been weeks since she's spoken with either of them on the phone.
But I called, no phone call. They put me on hold, wouldn't give me no information. I mean, they had money on the wall phone. They couldn't call me or anything. I don't know, okay, been to the doctor, blood pressure, everything up. It's just, I don't know. I'm just on the edge. I just want to know my baby's all right.
For the full statement released by MDOC, visit our website at WCBI.com. Well, Mississippi and 27 other states adopted Get Tough habitual offender laws in the 1980s to combat violent crime. Often called 3 strikes laws, as in 3 strikes and you're out, The tougher sentencing statutes mean anyone with a criminal history with previous felonies or even drunk driving offenses could be convicted of being a repetitive offender and face a prison sentence 3 to 4 times longer than they would otherwise. Today, our DeAndrea Turner talked to one man's family who says his sentence is unjust.
One man has spent his life in Parchman in the state prison due to a drug crime. His family says the last 13 years of his life has been enough.
These are the only pictures that Paul Hauser's family has of him because of Paul's prior drug felonies in 1983. In 2007, he was labeled a habitual offender and sentenced to the maximum term, 60 years without the possibility of parole. He was convicted in possessing the items needed to make methamphetamine.
He's got 60 years, and he's a nonviolent crime. He got less charges than what murderers or rapists get, and he's never harmed nobody, robbed, stole from nobody. He was an addict.
Dusty Hauser has spent most of his adult life with his dad in prison. He says the grimness of his dad's sentence is unjust.
I mean, they're addicts. They're not murderers or rapists. I hate to put an emphasis on it, but the severity of the crime don't fit the severity of the punishment at all. For what crime he committed, 13 years, is that not sufficient enough?
Dusty worries about his dad's state of mind.
I've had him call me before, and he said, if they can't get the law changed, or they can't change things for me in here, I'd rather be see if they'll give me the death penalty. I'd rather take my chances with God than to live in this nightmare I live in right now.
He talked to his dad a day before the lockdowns around Mississippi began.
He said, just pray and make it out, because it's crazy in here right now, and just if I don't get to see y'all, y'all know I love y'all.
Dusty says he will continue to fight for justice with hope as his anchor.
I know that he's a good man, and he's got a good heart, and he's capable of being a productive member of society.
And by the time of his release, Hauser will be 103 years old.
Thank you, DeAndrea. In national news, people took to the streets across the U.S. to hold anti-war protests following the drone attack that killed Iran's top general. Thousands turned out in Baghdad and Tehran to mourn the death of Qasem Soleimani as his funeral procession began Saturday in Iraq. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington.
Thousands of mourners gathered in Tehran Saturday, burning U.S. and Israeli flags, chanting anti-American slogans and calling for revenge for the death of top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. We say no more! Around the U.S., anti-war protesters rallied coast to coast. In Washington, D.C., actress Jane Fonda spoke out across from the White House.
The younger people here should know that all of the wars that have been fought since you've been born have been fought over oil.
President Trump ordered the drone strike Thursday that killed Soleimani at the Baghdad International Airport. The president says Iran's top intelligence and military strategist was plotting imminent and sinister attacks on American diplomats and military personnel.
Under my leadership, America's policy is unambiguous to terrorists who harm or intend to harm any American. We will find you. We will eliminate you.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Soleimani was planning attacks that would kill a significant number of Americans, but declined to provide further details about the threat.
The decision that President Trump made to take Qasem Soleimani down saved American lives.
While a number of Republican lawmakers applaud the decision, many Democrats say Congress should have been alerted.
The operation against Soleimani in Iraq was conducted, however, without specific authorization and any advance notification or consultation with Congress.
On Saturday, additional reinforcement troops prepared for deployment from the Army's 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Well, the White House on Saturday sent formal notification under the War Powers Act of the drone strike that killed Soleimani. When we come back, Elvis has entered the building. More after the break. Stay with us.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 p.m. with Cash Matlock.
Fans of Elvis Presley will head to Tupelo and Memphis next week to commemorate what would have been the singer's 85th birthday. As WCBI's Allie Martin reports, Graceland is helping Elvis fans discover the entertainer's roots by making weekly trips to the birthplace of the original American Idol.
Every Friday, the Graceland Excursions bus arrives in Tupelo with Elvis Presley fans from around the world.
Born in Italy.
Yeehaw Junction, Florida.
Tony Miner is a VIP tour guide from Graceland. He leads the day-long Tupelo trip.
We stopped at the hardware store, where Elvis got his first guitar. Great place for him to visit. And then we do a little driving tour around the city, see Elvis landmarks, and we end up here at the birthplace. And we serve a nice lunch, and they have a great time here.
For Elvis fans, being able to see the singer's humble beginnings, the church he attended, and other attractions helps them better understand his life and his generous nature.
His humility that he showed, and he was very charitable, giving away a lot of gifts, money, cars, houses, So seeing this now, how he was brought up, you can see that he understood people that struggle.
A true life story, starting out with nothing, and then growing up through the days and the times of hardship and turning out to be just an awesome individual. He remembered his roots and where he got started, and he came to give some back.
The Graceland excursion not only tells the story of Elvis the boy before he became the worldwide entertainer, it also brings more visitors and tourists to Tupelo.
We bring thousands of people into town just for the Elvis experience. And the city benefits quite a lot from that, if nothing more than just for the tax revenue that comes in from hotels and restaurants that they use.
This is the second year Graceland Excursions has been making weekly trips to Elvis Presley's hometown. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Well, it's estimated that 100,000 people visit the Elvis Presley birthplace and museum each year.
Sunny skies tomorrow, but I am tracking the chance for a few showers overnight Monday. Better rain chances, maybe some storms for us by the end of the week. I'll break all that down for you coming up right after this.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
See this little H right here? This is going to be our friend over the next few days. It's scooting in. That's some high pressure. That means no weather to worry about. It's going to be dry and sunny for the next couple of days. But since that high is off to our west, winds are out of the northwest. That's helping us stay a little cooler today. A lot of us struggled to get out of the 40s through the day, but I think we'll take that in exchange for dry weather. You can see outside right now in Columbus, the sun just having set a few moments ago, but clear skies continuing out there. Nothing going on weather-wise. That is definitely a welcome sight from the last few days and all that rainfall that we've had. Like I mentioned, it's a little chilly out there. We're already down to 41 in Starkville, 43 in Columbus and in West Point. We are 42 in Winona, already down into the 30s in Oxford. I think everybody will eventually make their way down into the 30s overnight tonight. Even though the rain has stopped, we've still got some flood warnings in effect for a good chunk of the area. That's because all that heavy rain off to the north still filtering down through our waterways, I should say, and that's helping those creeks to rise up just a little bit. But the good news is, I think we're starting to come to a crest. That water should be coming down here in the next few hours or so. STEENS, still lots of big flood water there, though. This is actually from Jessica's backyard. She sent this to us on Facebook. We hear that folks are trying to drive through this. We want to remind you, if you come across flood water over the next few days, turn around, don't drown. It's not worth risking your life trying to drive through that. Now, I wanted to give you an idea of what we're thinking about with the crest. This is the Luxapalila Creek here in Columbus. Last official observation is 20.7 feet. That's about 5 inches above flood stage. But we're thinking it's going to be downhill from there, down about an inch here in the next hour or so, and eventually down to closer to flood stage by late Sunday into Monday. So that's the good news. These waters will start to recede over the next few days or so. Overnight tonight, chilly, down into the 30s for a lot of us, right there around freezing, with those clear skies helping to keep us cool. And through the day tomorrow, plenty of sunshine all across the area. Temperatures just a little bit warmer, closer to that 60-degree mark. So really a picture-perfect day across the area. And through the week, we're not expecting much in the way of rainfall, maybe a 1/10 of an inch late Monday night into Tuesday as a little round of showers comes through, but really not much going on there. Our next big weather maker that we're tracking is going to come in late Thursday into Friday. maybe some showers, possibly a rumble of thunder through the day on Friday. And all indications are that some of that could last into the day on Saturday. So a little too early to tell for specifics on that. But for now, we've got a nice few days. We are going to track increasing clouds on Thursday. Definitely rain and storms on Friday, not completely out of the picture for some of those to linger over to Saturday. Right now, plan for it. We'll let you know if anything changes.
Now, Trevor, I just want to emphasize a point. If you see a barrier,
yep, don't go around it.
Don't go around it.
Yeah, that viewer in STEENS was actually one of the ones that reported people were driving around the barricade. They're there for a reason, folks. Don't risk your life just trying to get through floodwater.
And I know that Cindy Lawrence was saying that Lowndes County has already pulled 5 people out just today.
Yep.
So definitely watch out for that.
For sure.
All right, well, Mississippi State opens conference play against undefeated Auburn. So the Bulldogs start SEC season 1-0. See the highlights next in sports with Tom.
Here's sports with Tom Ebel.
SEC basketball season officially arriving for men's hoops. Mississippi State tipping off conference play with one of its toughest tests of the year. The Bulldogs hosting one of 2 undefeated teams left in the country. The 12-0 Auburn Tigers. Fast start for the Bulldogs. Nick Weatherspoon says not in this house. Beautiful outlet. Tyson Carter unable to make the layup, but Robert Woodard right there to clean up the mess. That'd be a 11-3 run. It's 17-9 Bulldogs, but Auburn races right back off the miss. Making quick work in transition, finds a wide open Isaac Okoro for the 2-hand jam. Auburn back in front. Clock ticking in the first. Bulldogs on the fast break, but Auburn takes it right back, and they don't waste any time. Getting up the floor, it'd be Samir Dowdy. In the middle of the teeth of the defense. Look at a floater. Friendly roll goes. Auburn takes its biggest lead of the game at 7, but right before the end of the first half, Nick Weatherspoon, the size up, the off balance, the heave at the buzzer. Bulldogs make it a 5-point game at the break. Second half we go. Check out Reggie Perry. They leave him alone on the press, but look at the big fella. A little bit of globetrotter in him. Splits the double team. Finds Robert Woodard on a beautiful pass for the 2-hand jam. It's a 2-point ball game. Auburn on top, but now they push it out to 10. Bulldogs trying to keep it close. Weatherspoon out in transition. Another tough lay-in. In the land of the trees down there. It's an 8-point ball game, and that's as close as it would get for Mississippi State in the second half. Alley-oop no good, but Dowdy wide open, all alone. Auburn gets the win 80-68. Bulldogs will look for their first SEC win Wednesday against Alabama. Ole Miss on the road at Wichita State. Tough non-conference test before league play begins for the Rebels. Trailing here, Breon Tyree left alone. Hand down, man down. Shockers makes the triple. It's a 2-point ball game. Now we go to the Shockers up 1. Look at the defense from Tyree on Jamarian Burton. But Burton gets Tyree to jump and somehow gets this one off the window for the and 1 bucket to go. 13-10, Wichita would lead, and that'd be about as close as it ever got in this ball game. Beautiful high-low action, nice dish inside. That's Burton again for the, or no, it's Trey Wade on the dunk. Wichita State cruises to a 74-54 win. Rebels tip off SEC play Tuesday on the road at Texas A&M. Busy day for SEC men's basketball. Georgia with possibly the upset of the day, taking down number 9 Memphis 65-62. Kentucky defeats Missouri 71-59, and LSU takes down Tennessee 78-64. We'll be talking much more basketball coming up at 10, including a lot of high school hoops from today. But hey, coming up here at 7:15 right here on WCBI is the Tennessee Titans at the New England Patriots as the NFL playoffs continue. Last meeting between these two teams, Titans won 34-10 in 2018. And in case you needed another reason to watch the local spotlight for us, Starkville native A.J. Brown was recently named a finalist for the NFL Rookie of the Year, the wide receiver position, and then Jeffrey Simmons playing defensive tackle for the Titans as well. So 2 guys who used to be on WCBI End Zone will be in the NFL playoffs. Catch it right here on WCBI coming up in just under an hour. That's it for sports. We'll have a last of your forecast coming up next.
A Utah man claims he has a 20-year-old McDonald's hamburger. David Whipple says he bought the burger at a McDonald's in Logan, on July 7th, 1999, he even hung onto the receipt. He says he initially purchased the burger for a presentation he made about enzymes and deterioration, which is kind of odd. But the burger ended up in the pocket of a coat that was forgotten about for years. And Whipple decided to check in on the burger this week, and he found that it's pretty much the same. And honestly, you guys, that's kind of scary. I mean, I love McDonald's, but I'm kind of worried about why that burger looks the same.
We were just talking during the break. First of all, who puts a burger in their coat pocket? And second of all, how do you just find it?
And why does it look the same 20 years later?
Why? I don't even want to.
I'm just going to go to the forecast because I really don't.
That burger was hashtag no filter, by the way.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that. The good news is we are looking pretty nice for the next few days. Maybe some showers overnight Monday into Tuesday. More storms on Friday.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll catch you back here tomorrow.